to Rome. Today is day 3 for me here in Rome, and today is going to be an epic day because I am about to head out and tour two of the most historical and popular spots here in Rome. We're talking about the Vatican City and the Colosseum. So it's going to be a day filled with history, culture, and some amazing sights. I'm super excited for it because the Colosseum, of course, is the center of ancient Rome, and the Vatican City is the center of the Catholic world. Both are places that I really wanted to visit. So today I'm super excited for the day to begin. So I've already come here to the meetup spot for my tour, and we are all excited to begin the day. So if you've still not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. It means a lot to me. And do like this video if you are planning a trip to Europe tour and you are planning an Italian holiday for yourself. Let's go and explore Rome. Let's begin. So we are now headed on our way to the Vatican City, and on my left, if you see these walls, these high walls that you see, is the Vatican City, or the borders of the Vatican City. That's where we are going to enter. We were just informed that the Vatican City has everything of its own. It's obviously the smallest country in the world, so it's a brand new country that we'll be entering now. And sorry, it's super noisy because there are too many cars passing by, but yeah, the Vatican City, the smallest country in the world, we are going to enter it. We were just told it has everything of its own. It has its own embassy, its own train stations, buses, everything of its own. So it is obviously headed by the Pope, who is also the head of the Christians. So this is where we are now going to enter. There's going to be security checks. There is a long queue in front that I can see. But yeah, overall a new country that we're about to explore.
Entering Vatican City feels like stepping into a different world. Technically, it's a whole different country. As the smallest independent state in the world, it has its own rules, guards, and security measures in place to protect its priceless treasures and historical sites. Before getting inside, you do have to go through a security check, similar to an airport screening. Bags are scanned, metal detectors are used, and large backpacks or sharp objects aren't allowed inside. So if you're visiting, it's best to pack light and avoid bringing anything that might slow you down at security. Once you're through, you're officially inside Vatican City. Walking through the Vatican Museums is like stepping into a masterpiece. Every ceiling, every wall, and every hallway is covered in breathtaking art. One of the most fascinating details, though, is in their ceilings. It's the use of trompe-l'oeil, a painting technique that creates an optical illusion of three-dimensional depth. Some ceilings look like they have intricate moldings and sculptures, but in reality, they're completely flat. Just masterful painting techniques at work here. Every room that we passed through had its own unique charm. From the gallery of maps, which has to be my most favorite area inside the museum, the entire walls here were covered with hand-painted maps from the 16th century, to the Raphael rooms, which were filled with frescoes that showcased his genius. It's a place where history, religion, and art collide in the most stunning way possible.
Well, we've entered the Vatican City, and I'm trying to be quiet here so that I don't disturb the others. We are currently walking towards the Sistine Chapel, and these are the galleries on the way. It is beautiful. The walls are decorated with tapestries, and the ceilings have 3D work in it. It's flat painting, but it's 3D, so it's just amazing. Painting in Vatican City.
After admiring every wall, every corridor, and every ceiling, which was covered in stunning frescoes, sculptures, and tapestries, we were headed to the highlight. This was the Sistine Chapel. Seeing Michelangelo's The Creation of Adam in person was absolutely surreal. Photos and videos aren't allowed inside, so we could not really record anything, but trust me, This is something you have to experience at least once in your life.
Well, we just came out of the Sistine Chapel. I couldn't take any videos inside because you aren't allowed to take photos, videos inside. But it is so beautiful. The works of Michelangelo is something which is magical. You need to come here. I don't think photos or videos would even do justice. See, the church bells are ringing, so it's true. And there is the Last Judgment there on the wall, and it's so beautiful. As soon as you enter, all along the left side you have the frescoes depicting the life of Christ, and on the right you have the life of Moses. It's very, very beautiful. You need to come here to see the beauty and the art which has survived thousands of years. We're now entering the main St. Peter's Church. Let's go in.
Here we are at our next stop, which is the magnificent St. Peter's Basilica. This is one of the most important churches in Christianity. The sheer scale of it is jaw-dropping, with towering columns, intricate mosaics, and Michelangelo's famous Peter sculpture. Standing in St. Peter's Basilica feels as if you have been transported in time. Once you are done visiting the church, you head out and find the St. Peter's Square. Standing here, you can see all around you and feel the weight of history that surrounds this place.
Well, we just went into the church. I'm sure you've seen all the amazing things inside. It's such a beautiful sight inside. And one thing which our guide was going on telling us was that whenever your mind says that this could probably be a painting, don't trust your mind, because everything inside is mosaic, and it is just so beautiful. You need to come here to see it. We went around the entire church. There are so many things to see. It's very beautiful. They are actually preparing for the Jubilee year, which is next year, which is why she suggested in 2025 avoid coming. It's going to be super, super busy in Rome. But yeah, we're here in the Vatican City, and now we're just entering the souvenir shop, because that's where you can get the holy water if you want to carry along, crosses, rosaries. These are things which you can carry, because other than that, from Vatican you cannot take anything out of Vatican. That's the rule. But these are the souvenirs which you can carry, and that's something I'm also going to get. Let's go in.
After buying some souvenirs, we headed out for lunch, as we were given 2 hours before we had to regroup for our second tour. This was also organized by the same team, but it was going to have a different guide. We had already received details about the location where we had to meet up for our second tour. So after grabbing lunch, we quickly headed to that spot. Here's a tip: if you are going through and joining the same tour, then just look out for the people in pink t-shirts with the name of the tour company. It just makes it way more simpler and faster to spot them.
Well, we have now come on to the second spot, and this is a tour for the Colosseum. There are 3 areas that we'll be covering. There will be the Palatine Hill, the Roman Forum, and then finally the Colosseum. So we are headed inside. Obviously it's too hot, which is why the cap now. But yeah, I think if you are coming here, make sure to get lots of sunscreen. Also get an umbrella for yourself and a cap. Anything that helps you beat the heat. And now we are entering the area and just following our tour guide. And as I said, we will first be going to the Palatine Hills, then to the Roman Forum, and then we finally reach the Colosseum of the gladiators. Inside the Colosseum, not the Colosseum actually, but the area. We've now come up to the Palatine Hill, and as our guide was explaining the history of this place, first of all, The Colosseum word itself is because it's colossal and really big, huge. It's the biggest amphitheater. Back in the day, it was used as a place where people used to come to watch the games, right? Games between animals, between humans and animals, the gladiators, all of that. So, Rome, as we were told, was, according to the history, says that was founded by the two brothers who were twins, Romulus and Remus. According to ancient history, the twin brothers Romulus and Remus were the ones who founded Rome in 753 BC. They are known to be the children of a human mother and the god of war. But when they were born, they were ordered by their father to be killed. And then after that, obviously they were saved, they did not die. But then they were the ones who actually built Rome. And that's where the name of Rome comes from Romulus. So now we are inside the Palatine Hill. We are going through the place and just looking at history in general, and also seeing and getting to know more about the history of this city and more about the country. Well, so we first went to the Palatine Hill, and from there we just visited the Imperial Palace. And again, there's so much history over here. For this palace itself, we were just told that there were about 7,000 people who used to stay here. We saw that 3D image of how the palace would probably look back in the day. But yeah, that was the Imperial Palace, and now we are moving on to the Roman Forum too, while whatever comes on the way. So while we were on the top of the Palatine Hill, we could actually see the entire area. So obviously it's the best spot to go and see everything from top. And that's where our guide mentioned all the spots of importance here and what they were back in the day, and the entire Roman Forum. So that's where we are now. Now we are down exploring that area. That's where we were, on top of the Palatine Hill, looking at everything down below, and now we are here and we are looking at the places around. One thing that I actually got to know from the guide was also that the Romans used to just make people gods and goddesses. So there were many people within their family, if they had a bad past or something happened to them, say someone who passed away while childbirth, all of them were termed as gods and goddesses. And all around this Roman Forum area is where you would see these churches built for them. Not churches, I wouldn't call it a church, but yeah, basically they were given the status of gods and goddesses, and here is where their remains were kept. So this is something that the Romans did. I think a lot of them actually believe themselves to be gods and goddesses, so that's very, very evident with the kind of things here that we see. Also, there is a Basilica area here, which we were told by the Romans it wasn't actually used for worshipping, but rather an area where they used to go for justice or for legal work. So those are the kind of things which used to happen. So yeah, that is pretty much the entire Roman Forum area that we are walking around now in. Super, super hot. So in summers when you're coming here, be prepared with your caps and hats and umbrellas with a lot of water. Although the good thing is that there are a lot of streams, other fountains that they have put up around this area where you can just refill your bottles, so you don't have to keep buying water.
On nearing the Colosseum area and seeing this iconic amphitheater up close is a completely different experience rather than just admiring it from the outside. The Colosseum once held over 50,000 spectators, all cheering as gladiators fought for survival. Our guide brought the history to life, sharing stories of battles, emperors, and the engineering marvels that still stand strong today. We are now finally walking through the ancient corridors and stepping into the massive arena. This was an experience like no other. It's hard to imagine that this was once the heart of Roman entertainment. From underground tunnels where gladiators prepared for battle to the grandstands where emperors watched the action. The Colosseum is a true symbol of Rome's epic history.
Okay guys, so with that comes the end of our tour. It's too sunny, just give me a second. Got this umbrella for 10 euros. So yeah, it's quite pretty. So yeah, so we're done with the tour finally. We went around the entire area. It had so much of history that we had to take in. The last time that I mentioned the churches, I was incorrect. It's actually the temples that the Romans kept building and making their relatives and known people gods and goddesses. Finally, we went to the Colosseum. That's where we saw where the gladiators used to fight. We were told about their history too, of how the owners of the gladiators used to upkeep and keep them, feed them, make them strong enough to come for the fight. And then when that used to happen, obviously that was all a part of fun and games for the Romans at that time. And that is how the way of life was. There were games with animals and man and man. So this is how it used to happen. This is the Colosseum right beside me. We're returning to our hotel now. Thankfully, our hotel is just opposite the Colosseum. So I will be adding details of the hotel and the cost and the room too. So if you are coming over to Rome, so this is probably one of the good options that you could take up, because it is very near to most of the important locations. So that was Rome, day 3. We saw 2 of the most epic and historical spots here in Rome. I enjoyed a lot. I hope you enjoyed watching it too. And until the next video, stay safe, take care, bye.
Wait. Before you go away, let me show you the hotel that we stayed when we were in Rome, as this is a great option for reaching all the spots around Rome and also the train station. The location for this was perfect as it was just opposite the Colosseum, so once the tour ended, we literally had to just cross the road and be back in our rooms. I will add all the details in the description for you to check it out. Now let's go and see the room.
Okay, so this is the room. It's a very big painting here. Love how the colors are used. Again, there's a big golden mirror here to get ready. There is a small study area here that you can use. This is the bed that is there. Again, it is quite good in sizing actually for 2. And you have a seating area. You also have a small refrigerator here and a locker to keep your important documents. You also have a good area here to hang your stuff. And the best part is that they also have 2 balconies. Let me show you. This is the first one. Oh, right. Oh, and that is where the Colosseum is. We just came from that side, so this is how close it is. And this is the second one. This also opens out. This is actually not a balcony, it's actually a window, but yeah, you can still open it up and just stand here. Oh, and again, there's just some other buildings on the opposite, but yeah, it's pretty.
And that brings us to the end of the vlog. I hope you found this useful. If you did, then please do like, share and subscribe, as this means a lot to me and my channel. Until the next one, take care. Bye bye.